everybody, it is episode 22, it is Melissa, it is James, it is of course then the MelanJam cast. Welcome back and thank you for listening. I am Melissa and with me as always, because he can't go anywhere, is...
James. And I've just been sitting here for 48 hours because, like you said, I can't go anywhere. So I've just been in the same chair for the same amount of time. I'm just sort of fused to it these days, really.
Waiting patiently each time for the podcast time.
Mm-hmm. And now I have been awoken to serve my purpose.
Yeah. And after this half hour and then you're editing, you'll be going back to where you came from.
Just sitting here in silence, you'll put a blanket over my head to signify the end of the day. Activates the robots next time.
So we've had the weekend, and last time we spoke to you guys, a big thing that I can think of was obviously the promise of cake. Which was a chocolate.
Which has come and gone.
Come and gone. It lasted. Actually, it did last until today. The last 2 bits we had for lunch, didn't we? So actually, it has lasted 3 days because I made it Friday evening.
Mm-hmm.
So
let's have the cake update.
Yeah. So I'm now out of butter, but you will be braving the shop tomorrow to procure more. But yeah, so it was
with a fiery torch.
It was a chocolate and vanilla sponge, Victoria sponge with chocolate frosting. Not my best sponge, but then admittedly I haven't done a sponge for quite a long time. I can't remember the last time I did a sponge, Victoria sponge. So it needed actually a bit longer in, and it didn't help that I, when I went to swap them over on the racks, the cake had risen and had got like fused to the rack at the top and like pulled the top layer off, so that was kind of annoying. So that's didn't help. So I will learn for next time. But obviously went down a treat because it is all gone now. So yeah, I will have to have a think what the next. I know you want some brownies,
yes.
But we need some plain flour or some butter to do the brownie
plain
box.
Plain flour or butter?
Well, both, but I can do the brownie box mix if we don't get plain flour. If we have
brownies
butter.
are almost guaranteed.
Yeah.
So long as we get butter minimum.
Yeah, minimum of butter. So, but I might try and do some different. Well, again, this all relies on if you are successful in your flour hunt tomorrow. If I get some plain flour, we can make some different biscuits, I think.
You know what it is everybody's buying the flour so they can reenact in their living room the famous scene from Raiders of the Lost Ark, but because people don't have any sand, they're just using bags of flour. So they're trying to remove the bag of flour instead of the idol, because everyone's gone crazy, you see.
Yeah.
So what else is there to do now, apart from do a podcast and to reenact your favourite movie scenes?
True. I mean, you were dancing around in your underwear earlier, so I mean, that's from a movie, isn't it?
Well, I thought I was naked, but...
What else have we been up to this weekend? I got a little bit more creative yesterday. Attempted a couple of projects, one of which I need to completely undo because it didn't quite work as intended. The other of which did, and I've had a t-shirt for about 15, 16 years when I brought from New York when we went there on a school trip. And I did used to wear it, but I haven't worn it for a really long time just because it didn't really fit properly anymore. But it's a really nice motif. It's like a pin-up girl kneeling down with like Ellis Island on it, which I really like. And I didn't want to get rid of it because obviously it came from New York, not really going to probably go back there for a long time. And so I cut out the sort of centre motif and stitched it onto the back of one of my jackets and then embellished it with some buttons. So I was actually quite pleased with the end result. You didn't seem to think it was too bad, did you?
No, I thought it was great.
So skirts.
So that's what this time's all about, is get back in touch with your creative side.
Yeah, so that was
side that I lack.
Oh yeah, I totally lack. So yeah, and then other than that, for me, was playing a lot of Dragon Age, which I am now doing the DLC because and apart from the end, I've pretty much exhausted the majority of the sort of side quests.
You actually fought a dragon, which is something you don't always do in Dragon Age.
No, I fought a high dragon, so it was a more. Usually, I fight one dragon at least, and then I get. Well, they just take so long to kill. It's just I find it boring.
Meat shields.
Yeah, and it's just like it's such a slog. Which is actually less more of the reason I don't bother with them than the fact that they're tricky.
Boring.
It's just boring. I mean, some I got from the second one I killed. That was quite a good haul, but. It's just
seems kind of rude to kill the dragons. They're not like an endangered species.
Oh yeah, I don't really like it either. I feel a bit bad for the poor things. But I'm doing a little bit of achievement hunting, so I need to seal some more rifts because you get an achievement for sealing 75 rifts, and I'm apparently 90% of the way there. So I need to go around and hunt some more rifts to seal. I did do one in the Jaws of Hacken DLC. My God, because that came later. The enemies are obviously harder than what because they're almost expect you to finish the game before you do this, and because I've done it earlier. And I went through, and I obviously had because the rifts get boring too because they're always the same. And there was these demons. That's the one that you think's funny. They go that you think's funny. And that one that creates an arm shield is just a slog to kill. And I killed 2. They had 2, and then 4 popped out, and literally they just decimated my entire crew. Like everyone just died. Even Cassandra, who's like bulked up to the max, everyone just died. So I avoided that rift until later. I think I'm gonna go back and do some of the easier ones in the hinterlands. But yeah, what have you been up to?
I've been playing a lot of Streets of Rage 4, and that's my life, basically. Just repeating that game over and over again. Still not bored of it, actually. Played through it online a few times with a good friend of mine. Oh, which actually I just remembered we got a comment as well on YouTube, so, which I'll get up in just a moment. But yeah, it's both it's nostalgic, but I don't know. It's got that nice blend where it's nostalgic, but also kind of adjusted for modern times as well, but very, very, very replayable. But it's really hard to describe. All it is it's just a beat 'em up game, really. Just about 2D beat 'em up. But it's just something about the feel. It feels just fun to play.
I like the way it looks.
The graphics are gorgeous. This sort of living comic book it looks like. It reminds me of the old days where there's not really any in-depth story. It's just quick to the point. And you just dip in and out really quickly, and gameplay sessions don't take too long as well. So it's fun. It just takes me back to the good old days. And I still kind of like stuff like that today. Really, things that you don't have to invest too much into because then you can get busy doing something else. But I love everything about it. I love the music. Love the nods to the original series. I love the unlockable characters and the retro characters from the previous games as well, which is brilliant. And they play exactly like they were in those previous games, which is quite cool. So I've been working.
Does that look funny? Because I'm thinking that with the when you can unlock the different look of Lara, and that looks really weird.
Yeah.
Does it look fun? Do they look funny against the background?
Well, yeah, they do, because the background's still the same, so it does clash. However, it doesn't affect any of the gameplay at all. It feels, and even more, they put clearly a lot of thought into it, because there are scenes in this game where you can see like the reflections of the characters in like puddles, and there's this light reflection on their bodies as well, and they incorporate that even on the retro sprites as well, which is kind of wow. It's just like they really put a lot of thought and depth into this. I mean, if you looked at it from a screenshot, it looks out of place, but it doesn't play at all like that. Even like the earliest one, Streets of Rage 1, they feel like they just kind of just blend in, really. It's funny, those ones though, because they didn't have very many moves. They're very restrictive back then, but they seem to have like deliberately slightly overpowered the original characters to make it sort of fit in with the new game, which I just love. It's just so many things about it that it's just had me grinning from ear to ear, and I hope that studio who one of them that works at Lizard Cube, I hope they do more work like this, because they're absolutely brilliant at just getting that perfect balance of reminding you of the good things of the past but making it like fun for today, so it gets rid of all the niggles and the things that would frustrate us, like no continues and stuff like that. So I really, really like it. It's quite it's a nice little thing to have at the moment under circumstances. So yeah, that's pretty much been me. I've obviously been doing writing and other stuff, but I don't know what to hear about that. I think we should mention we have been working out as well, because the reason I like to mention that is it keeps us encouraged so we keep doing it.
Yeah,
we have been doing
today,
exercise stuff.
And I think Friday. I don't think we did Saturday and Sunday.
It seems like we've been doing every 2 days at the moment.
I've tried to do it every couple of days.
Yeah.
But I don't think we did it over the weekends. I think Friday was the last one.
No, we
did. But I mean, I quite enjoy it. I mean, it's just, I mean, I'm not big on running, and you're not big on running. Hence why we don't run bar.
I was about to say, I don't really enjoy it, but I'm glad I'm doing it. I'm the opposite sort of mindset.
Yeah.
I don't like doing it. But
I don't really, there's bits of it I enjoy. Doing.
I like how it makes you feel.
Yeah,
afterwards.
I think that's the thing, isn't it? Because when we many years ago we got in the habit of running, and once I kind of remember I'd hit through that wall and you'd kind of gone out off it a little bit, but I was still going out, and I really enjoyed it. Especially I did it in the morning before work, and it just used to really set me up for the day. It was really really invigorating. I actually felt really good those days, like doing it pre-work. I think I was getting up at like 6, going for a run, doing a little bit of exercise, and then having like a shower and getting ready for work. And actually that was really, really nice. Hopefully we're not doing it that early at the minute at all.
No,
at all. Which I think a lot of people are in a similar boat. My sleep pattern's awful.
I have no shame, I'm bored.
But I would love when life returns to more normal, is to kind of keep that going and actually doing it early pre-work rather than just waiting until it. Because I used to go Pilates once a week after work, which I did enjoy.
I definitely prefer the before work idea.
Yeah.
When I get back from work, I just can't be bothered.
No.
Like,
well, that was the thing. If I left it too long, I had to make sure Pilates was always cut fine for getting back to get changed to go out again. But if I left it longer, I would just sit down and not go.
Certainly when you've got when money's attached to it, it does make it I guess it gives you that sort of incentive to go there. But
it is hard, because it was funny, she went on maternity leave and I was like, I'll do stuff from home. That didn't happen at all. I don't think I did anything until I went back again. So actually it's strange that this is what's spiked us to kind of get more back into what we've been saying we wanted to do for a really long time.
Yeah.
Which is, you exercise because it makes you feel better afterwards, not because of the doing. Excellent. So something else that we kind of wanted to touch on for our sort of topic-ish today, that happened over the weekend. So weekend just gone, those of you that have listened in the past, previously we've talked about Comic-Con conventions, and one that we was meant to go at the end of April was to Wales Comic-Con. And this weekend they did a sort of Twitch stream version with like panels and stuff of people that I think actually they must have threw together pretty quickly. I don't think it was quite sudden, like, oh, it's happening this weekend, and that was all. It's all in aid of the NHS and raising money for the NHS. I don't know how much money they raised. They didn't have like a total or anything going. But they had sort of loads of different, and these people, all these celebrities were given their time, or comic book wrestlers were given their time for free, which was really good as well.
That was impressive.
Quite a lot of them were kind of the more B-list sort of actors. And actually, I said about the Middle Earth one they did, I totally forgot that John Rhys Davies was in it, so we should have listened to that one. I totally forgot that he was on there, which was a shame. But the two that we did check out was a Buffy the Vampire Slayer one, which was on Saturday. And that was Anthony Head, who played Giles, James Masters, who was Spike, Alan Benson, who's Tara, Claire Kramer, who played Glory, and Seth Green.
I said Seth Green.
Who was Oz. So yeah, quite a kind of mixed-ish bag. Some James Masters and was meant to be at the con anyway, and he
did escape each
as was Claire Kramer. She was meant to be there as well. So some of them were kind of meant to have been. So whether they felt, I don't know, because they would kind of said about doing it that they would give their time. But I found this really interesting, actually. What did you think about it?
It surprised me, actually, because I wasn't sure what to expect from a Twitch stream version, because there is some issues with like the Zoom / Twitch stuff I found with audio issues are certainly a problem for some people, not everybody.
And some delays
and
as
there's
well,
delays, and it sometimes it's just this hot mess I find, and the one that used to always bug me when I was doing work related like webinar things is there'll be someone that wouldn't mute their mic, and you'd hear them breathing into the microphone, and they'll be louder than everybody else in the room as well, and you're trying to find a polite way of saying it's mute your microphone. But no, this was interesting. Particularly, I was quite fond of James Marsters' take on things, because he, I'm not massively interested in celebrities. I've said that before as well, but because most celebrity stories, and we're going to get to this, where they do this typical thing where they go, "Oh, we were such a big family, and everybody got on, and everything just went fine." Whereas I don't like listening to the staged, response to questions. I like listening to the raw, bitter struggle of things, and James Masters kind of revealed a bit of his difficulty in the early years before he began with Buffy, how he was earning very little. He actually said, was it $7,000?
Yeah, between him and his wife, they earned $7,000.
Yeah,
and I think they had a kid at this time too, because I'm sure he
Oh,
said
wow.
something about being a dad. So I've got a feeling they had,
He didn't reveal everything,
No.
so he doesn't have to. But it was fascinating for him to sort of say about the his challenges at the time, and how much having this role meant to him, and how much he really put himself into it. It obviously paid off, because Spike is very much one of the most memorable characters in my opinion of Buffy, in terms of his arc. Going from this kind of bad guy to this anti-hero to kind of a hero. He goes from different sort of beats in it, and it was just I like hearing those stories, really, about how they kind of, and then the cutest bit was him saying about how he's lived in a house now for 17 years and he still finds it a bit weird, because it's not what is normal for him. Normal for him was living in the tiny studio rented apartment or something, and he's not used to getting things like this, and it's rare from a celebrity to hear that, really, because most celebrities it's like, oh, we've got the pool and got the all sorts, and they don't really know the meaning of struggle, most of them. No offense, I don't mean this in a rude way, but it's,
he was even sort of saying about how even sort of during Buffy and stuff for a long time, they would eat oatmeal,
just that's his diet.
Breakfast, lunch, and dinner. That would all, and then when they got sick of it, they moved on to a different brand. So they got sick of that, and then swapped back to oatmeal.
All of his money was just oatmeal and rent. That's
yeah,
about it. They don't drive it on bus, maybe, or whatever.
I think he said he had a bicycle.
A bicycle, yeah.
And I don't, was is an ex-wife now, I think he said. But it was quite interesting to. He kept saying, Josh Whedon sort of said to him about how, you're going to die, you will die, you haven't got to say, your character's gonna not last. And he kind of told him to be between 5 and 10 episodes, and he just kept plugging for 10 episodes. He just wanted to reach that point. And it was quite lucky, really, because I'd heard this before, where Cordelia character, she left to go in the spin-off of Angel in, was that season 2, season 3, something like that, and then they realised that they needed needed a character to kind of be the person who sort of says, you're kind of being stupid, this is a bit ridiculous, which Cordy did, and so they brought Spike back to do that, but then they struggled because obviously this happened in daylight, which is what James Wells has mentioned, and he's like, I'm having to keep coming in smoking because he's a vampire that can't go out in the daylight, and they do then, that's why they flip some stuff around. It was quite interesting. And I thought it was quite funny when he said about the makeup artist. Was really into his craft, wasn't he? And he was gave him this list of stuff. You can't go out in the sun. You can't do this. You can't do that. And he was really surprised that James Welsh was like, yeah, sure, fine.
It reminds me a bit of costume department people I've met in the past. They are quite hardcore. They really take their job very seriously, which is good. It's good. They really are quite passionate about that. He said about him showing him sort of pictures, nasty pictures in his living room and
just
stuff
before
like
lunch.
That. Which is, I've met a few people, very similar category. But yeah, you got to be there if you work in that sort of that sort of environment. I think you got to be a bit crazy. You've got to be crazy to work in the entertainment industry, I think. I mean, he felt like, I don't think he meant to, but to me it felt like he sort of stole a bit of the spotlight just because it's interesting. It's interesting hearing his story. I don't think the others really had much to sort of add to something like that, because most of them, and I don't mean this again rudely, it's just they don't think most of them come from particularly difficult backgrounds. It's just the typical actor background, isn't it? Where, I went to acting college and blah 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 blah, and I landed this role, and then we all got on as a family and everything.
Yeah, it's quite funny. Those that know Anthony Head, he pre-Buffy was very well known for his very famous Nescafe advert.
I don't actually remember that.
I'll have to show
I think if I saw it again, I would. But
there was this big love trial about whether the Nescafe man would get with the Nescafe girl.
Oh right, yeah.
And stuff. So that was quite good. It was like a proper little like story in these adverts, and people were like, "Oh my god, what's going to happen next?" Wanted to watch it. But they tried to do something similar in America, which is why he kind of went over there in the first place. And he was given a script for something else that he kind of wasn't massively into. And I can't remember who he said, but someone said to him, if you're not into it, wait, something else come along, which is then Giles came along, which is quite good.
Yeah.
Because obviously, his character's really good. And they were saying about how... Seth Green was saying how he modelled Oz, which actually, it's quite funny because so that guy is
the Offspring guy. Yeah, that's right. Which makes a lot of sense actually, because he had bleached hair and spiky.
Because I always thought it was funny how he went from looking like that to then looking like Oz.
Yeah,
it was always a bit weird.
It was quite a sudden transition.
Because he had I think Oz always had black painted nails. I think he keeps that throughout. But I mean, it's bits about him kind of radically changed between episodes.
Well, that's quite common from for season 1, season 2 is always a transition. I think when they finally settle into what the style's going to be and how people are going to kind of behave moving forward.
Because he was just expecting to be like a bit part for the start, wasn't he? Because I think he didn't even have a name. He was just like guy in band.
I was actually generally surprised Seth Green appeared on this panel at all, because he feels to me like, again, no discredit to people, but he's probably one of the more successful people out of the people that are on that. Because he's now kind of like a executive hotshot with Adult Swim and stuff. That's like his thing, I think now. But more behind the scenes, as we were saying, as opposed to acting. But they're all obviously they've all gone there in their own places. Anthony Stewart still does very many roles at the moment. Not so sure about the 2 girls that were on the panel. I don't really know if they're into.
No, I don't know. Amber Benson does more. She does sort of indie singing stuff.
Yeah.
Obviously those that know the Once More Feeling episode, her and Auntie Head and James Masters are like the best singers on there. And James Masters and Auntie Head both have.
Yeah, they do, don't they? Yeah, he has an album. James Masters.
They both have an album.
Which got signed. Well,
indirectly signed. So, and then I don't know what Claire Kramer does as Gloria. I didn't realise, it's quite interesting that was her first TV
that
role.
Was interesting. Yeah.
And she was saying about how much she learnt from Sarah Michelle Gellar. That was quite interesting about how, for her, which in some ways, when she was saying about how she kind of gave everything to it, which she wouldn't do now. She said now that she's been a bit more spurred with the industry, it's kind of, if she was offered that role now, she wouldn't play it the same. She probably wouldn't even have taken that role.
That's interesting.
That was quite she was young and stuff, and kind of just gave her all and kind of went along with it, and didn't really have any ambitions back, because you don't have any bad experiences to play off against. And it was quite interesting. She was saying about some of Glory's outfits, which were obviously quite crazy outfits.
High heels.
And she was like at 5 o'clock in the morning. She's like going out in leather dress and high 6-inch heels. It's quite interesting. But no, they went on. It's really good as well, because considering they gave their time for free.
Oh yeah, absolutely. It's a very nice gesture.
Yeah.
It's a bit, the time zone must be a bit weird for some of them as well.
Because some are in
different areas of the country, different areas of America.
Because I think Anne Benson must be in LA. Yeah. I think. Auntie Head's in Britain.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, precisely. There must be a 6-hour gap.
Which is probably why they chose 8 o'clock.
It would probably make sense, wouldn't it? So.
But then, so is there anything else you wanted to mention about the Buffy one, or do you want to talk about the other one that we
I
listened to?
think I remember the host of this one was he was there when we actually went to a panel. Was it the Doctor Who?
Yeah, he
thing?
did.
Yeah.
Well, I think he did a lot of the panels. At the
I
other one.
like him. He's so he's not a celebrity. He's just he's involved in the Comic Con
Yeah,
thing.
though I'm sure he said something about he's something to do with nature documentaries. He said about because he was talking about David Tennant.
Oh yeah,
and he sort of said something about he's done stuff with it.
I wouldn't know.
Yeah.
My celebrity knowledge is like an F, I imagine.
So that was really an interesting one that we caught on to. And then the other one that we watched on Sunday was Sean Pertwee and a sudden special guest appearance of Donald Logue that I don't think I pronounced his name right.
Probably not. I don't know.
For those in the know, that is Sean Pertwee played. I want to say Arthur, but it's not Arthur. Alfred in Gotham, and Donald Logue was Harvey Bullock.
Two of my favourite characters, I have to say. They're easily two of the best characters on that show.
Yeah, and those that don't know them from Gotham may know Sean Pertwee from... He's actually a typical British actor that turns up in a lot of stuff.
But
he was in Dog Soldiers.
His most infamous, early infamous roles.
But he's pitched up in loads of things actually. And then Donald Logue was in Grounded for Life, which was I watched that.
So I think it's Law and Order. He said he was in. I've never
seen that,
Law and Order. And Vikings, obviously.
Yeah.
We saw him in.
He was really good in Vikings.
Yeah, he was.
Which was great. So they've got quite a varied background, I think, between the two of them.
Yeah. Two older dudes.
Yeah, and that was quite a nice surprise because actually wasn't expecting Donald to be honest. So that was pretty cool.
And that must be weird ends of the country.
Yeah, because he was also in LA, and I think Sean Pertwee must live in Britain.
I imagine so.
But this was on at 5, so that must have been. But it's still sunny in LA. So,
Isn't it always sunny in LA?
So this one was quite interesting because the guy, compared to the Buffy one, the interviewee guy actually took questions from the chat on this one, a couple of questions.
Yeah, it was definitely done a bit differently. I didn't mind how they did both of them though. I mean, I guess there's only 2 people as well, so it's not. Easier. But they spent ages kind of answering questions.
Yeah.
And, I'm just going to call him Harvey because that's how I know him. Is he seemed much more sort of very mellow, a bit too mellow at times. It felt like he was sort of maybe he just woken up and he was like, oh yeah, man, I felt so strong about this situation. I felt, God, so close to these actors and this role. I didn't get to keep the hat.
Seeing the kids grow up and
he was getting on. It felt like he was getting a bit sort of like, I don't know, like it's almost like a "this is your life" sort of situation.
Yeah,
I got really emotional. That's what.
Quite sorry for him in a way though, when he said like he didn't get any of the suits on it because his stunt double took the hat.
Yeah,
and I was like, oh,
wouldn't you?
Yeah, but he got a sofa from it, and he'd also had a sofa from Friends, which he showed you, which was quite good. And then Sean Pertwee was saying he got a signet ring that was modelled after a tattoo of his.
All right. Yeah.
That was quite interesting. He wanted to have something linking, like Alfred had his family and stuff like that, and something that grounded him more. So that was really interesting that he took that. He said he wished he took some of the suits, some of Alfred's suits.
They were brilliant. Yeah.
Very nice.
He had good taste in waistcoats.
Yeah, because he said the girl who played Babs, the blonde girl, she took some of her dresses.
Oh right, yeah.
Evidently. But yeah, he said he wished he took some of his suits. He did take something else. I think he took the fob watch. That he has and the watch as well.
The funny thing is, part of it's like, well, why wouldn't you? Because especially like dresses and clothes, because they wouldn't really necessarily fit anyone else. They're not used for anything else either. So it makes sense to me.
So, but that was quite funny. I couldn't, when you're saying about like the issues with this one, we had to quite turn up. I couldn't really hear them so well. With
there was a bit more
sound
audio
this one.
difficulties, but no, I that one surprised me. I enjoyed it more than I thought. I thought it was because I wasn't sure what to expect. Cause it gave it bad first impression because of the audio issues, but it ended up being pretty good actually, and it felt a bit more like just these 2 old men just kind of gushing over there, like how much they appreciated the youngsters and all
each
this
other.
Stuff. And each other.
They were like anything with a scene with Harvey was
like
my favourite thing, because he was saying Alfred was saying his favourite one was when he goes I'm not a valet, I'm a butler, which is a really good scene, which was with Harvey, so that was quite good.
It's surprising that they're contracted for 7 seasons
Yeah.
as well. Like, they only, there's 5, so 5. That's it, and then they've concluded it at the end of the 5th one.
And they didn't actually know about the finale until
Oh, wow, that's
they were saying
interesting,
the 2 episodes, the final 2 episodes, they didn't film them till later.
Oh,
So they said they didn't really realise that when they were doing it, that was really the end, because they were kind of all kept obviously trying to keep it going or whatever.
Everything has to come to an end at some point. I'm in that category of that. It's, the problem is when you just drag things out. And Gotham is an interesting series in general, because that, I felt the way I would rate that series in general is I kind of saw that as my fast food show, where, and it's not me, it's no discredit to it at all, but it's entertaining, but it's very flawed in places.
Yeah.
But I was still looking forward to each episode we watched it. I think we watched the whole thing on Netflix, I believe, when it was when it was brought on there. But the problem with me though is
Didn't we watch it on 5 earlier on?
Yeah, we might have done. Yeah, I think we watched on Channel 5 first, the on-demand service there. Then we went to Netflix when it's on there. I was saying the problem with me is I'm actually just not. Don't get offended, people out there. I'm just not the biggest Batman fan.
Which even they said, actually, they were saying that they weren't massive on it, but then it was the characters that they created, wasn't it?
But the characters are really good in this. The biggest error with Gotham, and I've said this to you many times, is that it's a shame that they had to focus so heavily on Bruce Wayne becoming Batman in it, because that felt like that's the biggest issue I had that whole series. Because the best part by far was the other characters, everybody else, including Alfred, including Harvey, and all of the individual stories. And it just felt like that because we had this this whole Bruce has got to become Batman at some stage, which felt like they were rushing him to that finish line far too quickly for his age.
And it was funny because they said about how they would have liked to have done more in that world.
Yeah, exactly.
That they'd also
the world's really good.
So many different stories they could create within it.
Because I like the wacky characters.
Yeah.
And I liked the fact that there was this kind of a good balance where they weren't super serious like Christopher Nolan's Batman, but they weren't super campy. Like, it's the good middle ground where they were wacky. They're wacky enough, and their costumes were really out there sometimes. But so it was an entertaining show, but it just lacked that. It could have been something truly special I think if they just got rid of Bruce Wayne entirely, not kill him or anything, but that I think
that focus.
Well, the thing that I think I said this or you said this ages ago when we first watched it, is that the infamous scene where Bruce Wayne's parents get shot, which everybody knows, that should have been the ending they're aiming for. That should have been the end of the Gotham series, and everything else should have been, so that way you could focus more on these great characters that they introduced. Because even like Oswald Cobblepot, or who's Penguin, basically, and like the Riddler. Riddler is really good in Gotham. I loved his arc. He's great.
His growth. Because obviously he works for the JCDPD to start with, and how he kind of goes a bit nuts. My biggest thing with Gotham was what they did with Lee really annoyed me. Her stuff with that just so choppy changey, it got really confusing. But it was really interesting when they were saying about their favourite parts, and Harvey said his favourite part was marrying Lee, and that's enough of his emotional attachments, isn't it? But he said it was really sweet, because the guy he was like, Ben, who plays Jim, he was like, he because they got together on the show, and he was like, he was this guy who kept travelling and never had any roots and went all over everywhere from show to show. He said, now he met this beautiful woman and they're together and it's really lovely, and I got to marry them on the show, so that was really nice. But that felt really rushed. Anyway, which is another issue with it, because they all the stuff that kind of happened between them, and then suddenly, we're married now, everything's forgiven, was a little bit like, but it was really nice though, and I quite like their, because they've got like 2 kids now as well, which is really sweet.
That's wow, I didn't know that. That's dead cute.
Yeah, they are really cute. So yeah, that was quite another fun sort of one.
There is
one
a possibility.
To watch.
I just thought of this because Twitch does archive some of the streams. You may be able to re-watch these streams on the Twitch channel, so we could actually watch the Lord of the Rings one. Maybe we'll have to check it out afterwards.
Have a look.
Because as someone that's a little bit familiar with Twitch, I'm aware of some of these facts. I could be wrong. It depends. It's up to them.
If they've kept it.
I imagine they would keep them up because it's in their interest to have people watch it.
Oh yeah. But no, that was really, and then so that was what we were looking forward to over the weekend, and our sort of little takes on that. So I think, any final thoughts for today?
I really need to think of something more clever for final thoughts, because I just keep doing retarded things like carpets and. But no, I mean, I your sign off's always the best, I think. But like you were saying about the hobby stuff, being creative things is you don't have to be Van Gogh or anything to be creative. You can be as creative as you want if that means. But I recommend trying something new. Pick up that book you mentioned to pick up. Maybe pick up that pencil or that art set you never used. And, just have a bit of fun. Why not? Yeah. Enjoy the sunshine while it's there as well.
Yeah,
Of course, some people might be in countries where it's not like this, but it's a lovely day today again. I like mentioning the weather on this. It's great.
Yeah.
It's one of my favourite things. So we might get back to clean the garage tomorrow, so that might be our conversation then.
Yeah, get the other half of that garage completed, hopefully. So yeah, everybody, as usual, please do take care, stay safe. Please still stay at home. I know it's so tempting, but please do still stay at home. Thank you so much for listening, and we will catch you all soon.
Excellent. Take care.
Bye.